UFC Australia Fight Night was a huge success with Carlos Ulberg potentially registering himself as the next number one contender and some great fights on that card. But looking forward, we have UFC 320. I'm here with the one, the only, the professor. My name is Callum, dubbed the Sandman Sanderson. We are here, MMA from London to LA. Sit back, relax. Let's get into it. Hello, lovely people. My name is Callum Sanderson, joined by the MMA professor Colin Crandall, and we have got some stuff to talk about. Colin, firstly, how are you doing, my bro?
I am doing great. Let me get here a little bit taller here, maybe a little bit closer so we can have some parity here. And then I'm blocking out these two gentlemen, but that's okay. And yeah, I'm doing great, Callum. We are here killing it with information and great talk.
Indeed.
People know us. They know you in England. They know me here in the USA. And they know us both across the country, across the world, across the pond. And I am the professor. I call you the Sandman, Callum Sanderson. So together we comprise the dynamic duo of Professor and the Sandman.
Indeed.
And we are bringing you some truths, some thoughts, and some analysis. And basically, we're going to fill you in on what happened this past Saturday and what is coming up next Saturday in our educated opinion.
Indeed. Right, let's start with UFC Australia Fight Night. The main card kicked off with a great fight between Tom Nolan and Charlie Campbell. It was a back and forth affair in the first round, and then Tom Nolan gets a submission victory. Arguably could say like one of the fights of the night, if we're going to be honest. A really good scrap.
Yeah, I think absolutely, absolutely. Very impressed with Nolan. Really didn't have a lot of time to scout that one, but definitely impressed by Nolan coming in with that rear naked choke. A fair amount of chokes on the card. Always good. You can get that position and lock it down. Chokes can be harder if you have someone that's really practiced hand fighting and making sure to defend against it.
Keep the chin tucked.
Yeah. Right, but if you're a bit hurt and a bit tired, that's also a factor, and I think that was indeed a factor in that fight. But definitely big respect to Nolan, and Campbell is a pretty tough guy. I'm sure we'll see again soon.
Great fight. Then maybe the surprise of the night: Neil Magny, playing spoiler again, submits Jake Matthews in the third and final round. Incredible stuff. Neil Magny, man, he's just the guy that just keeps on going. Everyone writes him off before every fight, and somehow he keeps on beating these new and up-and-coming fighters. A great result for Neil.
Absolutely. 38-year-old, as we know in our sport, does not often beat a 31-year-old unless there's a huge disparity in talent and rankings and levels, if you will. And but Neil Magny just does not give up. Very unorthodox, very tall, lanky, very tricky, very determined, extremely crafty, super experienced. If anyone could maybe be called like an MMA professor, my nickname that's active in the UFC, probably Neil Magny would be that guy. He is like the old professor, and he took the Aussie Jake Matthews, who was on a 3-fight win streak, to school, did he not?
He did indeed. And look, Jake Matthews actually looked quite decent in some of the in the early rounds. Like, Neil got the jab off from quite early, but that third round he just put a pace on him, and Jake couldn't handle it. And again, you could hear pin drop in that arena when the referee pulled Neil Magny off him. Jack Jenkins gets a 3-round decision against Tavares. Again, really good fight. Jenkins throwing the right high kick to stop Tavares, really landed with that left overhand, which was his real big shot in the fight. Landed some good body kicks. Jenkins was just really good. Just come back off a really bad injury as well. So it was really emotional in the cage after the fight as well. So really happy to see JJ, I'm going to call him, Jack Jenkins, get the win. But Tavares was really game as well. Really good scrap this one.
Absolutely. Aussie, 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 as they
Oi,
say
oi, oi.
for the. Yeah, man, I love it. From Jack, when they call Far Jenkins, the 32-year-old out of Melbourne, Victoria. I have a couple of friends over there. And very good win coming off a loss and good opponent, solid effort on the main card. So that definitely gave Jack some attention he needed. And a good fighter with a solid record, 14-4. He's got 6 KOs and 3 subs now. So pretty good finish rate of 64% in the featherweight division. That's pretty solid.
It is indeed. The co-main event was Jimmy Crute taking on Ivan Urslan. I'll be honest with you, bro. Watching the sort of the start of the fight, Jimmy Crute almost looked too relaxed, as in he looked like he wasn't taking it seriously at all. And he was getting hit with a couple of shots, and you're thinking, Jimmy's not really taking it seriously. A minute later, he takes him down, subs him, and he starts laughing and jumping around the cage. Typical Jimmy Crute fight, always exciting, always fun, and filled with action. Were you a little underwhelmed with Urslan?
So, I mean, so Urslan, sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you clearly.
Well, I was going to say, were you a little taken back by Urslan because he almost looked like a fish out of water as soon as the fight hit the ground?
Yeah, I was. I honestly, as an Eastern Bloc guy, not all of these guys are grapplers or wrestlers that were from the Sambo system, but most are, and it doesn't look like he was. Tough guy coming off of 2 other losses, and honestly, if you look back at it, the man has now lost 5 out of his last 7 fights. So I just don't think his confidence was really high. He had barely lost a split decision against the Hulk Ewan Kutalaba, but then did lose a decision in Navajo Sterling. And I don't know, it just seemed like his head wasn't in the game, or maybe he was intimidated. I think maybe scouting showed the Crute camp that this should be not a difficult fight. And I think some people have talked about in the past that some of the bigger fights tend to be a lot of pressure for Crute, and he ends up not coming through when it's an opponent that is really, really dangerous for him. I'm not taking anything away from Urslan, but yeah, perhaps Crute kind of had an idea where it would go, and then on the ground, he's a very good finisher. And yeah, he just, he looked really good, and I think Urslan now is 0-3 in the UFC, probably 3 and out. You know what I mean? Is what it is. I hope not. And never any shade on these fighters. I think people watching have to know that that I always say, and it's obvious, that regardless of who we are, training, jiu-jitsu, good shape, we would lose to a losing UFC fighter. At least I would, quite quickly. So Urslan would probably beat me in about 10 seconds. So no shade on Urslan. Tough guy. Yeah, but a solid win for Crute, and I'm not sure where Urslan goes from here, but looked good for a minute. But Crute definitely a good finisher with a bunch of finishes and subs in his career, including the UFC and not KSW, including the UFC and other places. But big win in front of his hometown crowd, very relaxed, and it did come through for him. So
it did indeed.
Proved to be the good mindset.
Speaking of relax, Carlos Ulberg, let's be real, destroyed Reyes in the main event, and I didn't expect this. He landed a crisp 1-2 off the angle and just completely shut Reyes out with some ground and pound. Reyes looked so hesitant in this fight. He almost looked like he was shelled up in this fight. He couldn't get his punches and kicks off. He didn't look right in there. It almost felt as though the occasion was too big for him, which is weird considering he's been in there. Some of the best fighters, fought John Jones, and in my opinion, beat John Jones. He didn't seem right in there, but Carlos Ulberg, take nothing away from him, a brilliant brilliant knockout victory. And he throws his name in the hat now to be the potential next opponent for the winner of Ankalaev versus Pereira.
Indeed. I was hoping I could maybe give you my response in your exact English accent, which probably would have made you laugh, I think. But I'll work on that. Not prepared for it, but we'll discuss that over some fish and chips and I hope one day.
One day.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, what you say is correct, but I also think this. As you get older, it's harder to see the opening and pull the trigger, and that's one thing I was noticing with Reyes. He
Yeah.
kept not doing anything, and I think it was that he every time he saw an opening, Ulberg would move and not.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I think Reyes could see that his reflexes were off compared to this younger fighter. Ulberg was just throwing and landing leg kicks and other stuff, nothing damaging. But I think that Reyes could see that Ulberg had the speed and the reflexes. And I think Reyes just felt like, look, if I am not careful, it looks like this kid is just way faster than me,
Yeah.
way fresher, and that turned out to be the case. I mean, if you look at the slow motion, it's rare that one shot of a 1-2 lands absolutely flush, and
Yeah.
then the other shot also lands absolutely flush.
Flush. Yeah.
And it was completely flush, completely flush, lower jaw on the other
Yeah.
side. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think he was just outmatched, and that's I fear at the weight division where he is, where a lot of it is power
Yeah.
and speed, but one punch can do it, and especially two punches.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be able to do what Neil Magny has done in the lower weight class. I'm
No.
concerned that I don't know that there's much left in Dom Reyes, although again he could beat me in 5 seconds, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And me.
and a tough guy, yeah, right, exactly. Most of us, not the two guys behind me, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
but all the rest of us. So big respect to Dom Reyes. Ulberg looks
Yeah.
good.
He
So
does.
yeah, so Ulberg is I would think is in line, would be next for these two gentlemen behind me, wouldn't he?
It could be, but as we're going to speak about now, UFC 320, there's another fight on that card that could potentially throw the spanner in the works. So we're going to speak about
Yes.
UFC 320. We'll we'll start with we'll look at was one of the prelim fights I do want to speak to you about, and that is Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. Shabazian, he picked up a victory. If I'm not mistaken, his last victory was against Petrosky.
Indeed,
Even and
yes.
Petrosky fought on last night's card as well. And unfortunately, he got knocked out early in that fight as well.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the almost like the time where Shabazian realizes his potential, or do you think Muniz, sorry, is going to be too much for him in this fight?
Edmund's a good guy. I interviewed him a couple times early on in the
Really,
pandemic
really
when he was on
humble
his
guy.
streak. Very humble guy, very nice young man. Um, and I think that this is a very, very good fight. Shabazian is now, I'm going to guess he's like 27 now or something. Yep, 27
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, still
15 and
really
5.
young.
Yep. He's on a 2-fight
Yeah,
win streak. He had got subbed by Gerald Mearshart, but then he's beaten Dylan Budka by stoppage, and then Andre Petrovsky by decision on June 14th. He is more of a striker, but has worked fairly hard on, I shouldn't say fairly, he's worked hard on his grappling for the
yeah,
last couple of years and made some fairly good improvement. Andre Muniz is a jiu-jitsu guy with some striking. He's going to be about the same height at 6'2". He is older at 35 years old, and he did lose to Ikram Aliskerov in his last fight. Before that, he beat the turtle. I think, what is he called? The Iron
the Iron
Turtle.
Turtle.
Yep, Iron Turtle, who's a
Yeah,
very tough fighter, Jun Young Park, the Korean. And then
mm,
before that, though, he lost to Paul Craig and Brendan Allen. No shame in those losses. This is a tough one. If it goes to the ground and Muniz is on top, then I think Edmund's in some trouble. But Muniz is not the best wrestler in the world, so I
yeah,
think this fight is somewhat set up for not set up, but is kind of leaning toward a fight that should favor Edmund Shabazian, because I just don't know that Muniz's wrestling is good enough. And at 35, if his reflexes are good enough, at 185, there's some speed involved in it. Man, I think it's a dangerous fight though, and it's an important fight for both. And with Sergio Andre Muniz being 35 years old, this is a very important win for him,
Yeah.
especially since he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He really needs this. But I do think that this will be a victory for Shabazian, and I think Shabazian is favored, and I think should come through. I haven't looked at the odds though. Is it close? Do you have access to that?
Mm, let me see if I can
Yeah,
find
sorry to
it.
throw you a curve, but
That's all right.
I would imagine perhaps minus 200 or something in the U.S. odds for
Let's
Shabazian.
have a look. So, view latest odds. Where are we? MMA.
I would bet
So
while you're looking.
currently,
What do you think?
they're only showing. They're
They're
only
not right.
showing the Pereira fight.
No problem. Sorry to throw you a curve.
Yeah, they
It
do. UK's not. We're not great for betting odds with
I
MMA.
see. Let me see if I can find out really quick here because I should be able to see pretty quick here. All right, there we go. And we're going to go over here and see, and
Hold
then
on,
we'll.
I've got it now. I've got it now. So
Okay.
Shabazian is a 4-11, and Muniz is 9-4.
Okay, so in US though, because it's quite different as far as
Oh yeah,
how we explain it. So we have Shabazian is minus anywhere from minus 275 to minus 300 or so. So he's about a 3-1 favorite. So as expected. So I do think that this will go the way of Shabazian. I get a feeling that this is Edmund's fight. So, but I'm excited to see it though, because Muniz is a tough guy, and if it's on the ground, there's a lot of grappling. Then
yeah,
Muniz could indeed catch him.
indeed. Right, let's move to the main card, bro.
Yes.
Kicks off in the middleweight division. Joe Pyfer taking on Magomedov. Joe Pyfer, I think everyone had this feeling that he was just going to be this crazy knockout artist. And that's not really happened yet. Magomed, predominantly a grappler from what I've seen of him. If Joe Pyfer can keep this standing, though, he should be the favorite. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think so. What do they say? In the end, everyone ends up paying the piper.
Yeah,
The piper,
I like that.
technically, but
I
yeah,
like
thank you. That's what he would like to feel. That could be
that.
his new motto. Everyone pays a piper. So let's look at Abus Magomedov. Tough guy. He's had a few fights in the UFC. He had a short notice fight early on against Sean Strickland and lost that, and then lost to the very tough Caio Bajalio. Came back with 3 wins over Warley Alves, who is kind of a shop warm, smaller fighter anyway.
Yeah,
Bruno Ferreira by submission,
yeah,
and an impressive win over Michel Pereira, and
mm,
that was this
three very
past
good wins.
April. Yeah, so he is a double tough guy. 35 years old though, so getting a little bit older.
Yeah,
Balanced attack, but normally with finishes by KO. Joe Pyfer is going to be the younger fighter. Body Bags at 29 years old. Body Bags Pyfer, and he is coming off
great
2 wins.
nickname, by the way.
Yes,
Great
I
nickname.
like that, definitely. Coming
Yeah,
off of only the one loss in many fights against Jack Hermanson, but then having beaten the power bar Mark Andre Barrio from Canada and Kelvin Gastelum. Wow, tough fight though. Yeah, I like Pyfer in this fight,
yeah,
but I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it, and I'm betting the odds are going to be close. Let's take a look here. Pyfer is about a 2.5 to 1 favorite. I don't, yeah, he's a very good wrestler. He's the
yeah,
better wrestler. Abus is a tough guy though. But again, I honestly think that as the younger fighter, if it's close, they're gonna
yeah,
give it
bad.
to the younger fighter
Yeah,
with the less losses. But I think this would be an exciting one. Abus is a tough guy, and I think the odds are a little bit of an overlay. Should be closer, but I like Joe Pyfer here, and I think he can win it wherever it goes. But I think the wrestling is going to be one of the key things. He can end up being on top and dictating where the fight goes. That's going to be, I think, the advantage that he has, at least in my MMA professor's humble opinion.
Humble opinion. I hear it. A great fight at featherweight. Yusuf Zalal versus the hard hitting Josh Emmett. This could potentially. I say it could steal the show. We're going to speak about the featured bout after this one, which I think everyone expects to be like the people's main event. But this fight between Zalal and Emmett, I think is really going under the radar. Like Emmett is a knockout artist. If I'm not mistaken, Zalal scored a beautiful knee to the face KO in France a few fights back. I
Yeah,
can't remember who the opponent was, but it was a devastating knockout. These two guys both know how to finish. I'm expecting fireworks. What are you saying?
absolutely. And I think the fight, you know what though? I'm looking at Zalal's record. That would have been a while back if it was a knockout. Well, his last knockout was in a Sparta Combat League.
Oh, I might
So
have got the wrong. I might have the wrong fighter then.
you could, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I had
but
definitely have the wrong fighter.
no problem, no problem. But no, Zalal is a very tough guy. The Moroccan Devil. I interviewed him once early in the pandemic as well, and I've interviewed Josh Emmett several times. A really, really good guy. I like Josh. Josh is 40 years old, 11 years older than the Moroccan Devil, Youssef Zalal. Zalal is, however, on a 6-7 fight win streak. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak.
just beat Calvin
Um,
Cater as well.
Yes, so in the UFC, his wins over Billy Quarantillo, Jarno Evans, Jack Shore, and the aforementioned Calvin Cater. Yeah, he's looking really, really good. Yusuf is a very tough guy. Good balance. He's got 9 subs and 4 KOs. And Emmett is more of a knockout guy. So 17-5 with 13 finishes for Zalal, and again on a 7-fight win streak. Josh Emmett coming off a loss over your fellow Brit Lerone Murphy. No,
Yeah,
no shame there because
no
Lerone
shame at
beats
all.
everyone. Lerone, yeah,
Yeah,
Lerone is very, very tough. Before that, beating Bryce Mitchell, losing to Ilya Topuria. No shame in that. The champ, the double champ. And Yair Rodriguez. This is a tough fight, and the pressure is going to be on Emmett to win this one, being the much older fighter, and I think he can.
mm,
But I think the odds makers will not be in agreement with that. Let's take a look. And of course, they're not. Wow, they're giving Emmett not much of a shot at all.
I'm
This is,
surprised.
yeah, the odds are about 3.5 to 1. About three and a
Mm.
half to 1.
Emmett
And
has got
so
such devastating power. It's hard to count Emmett out sometimes.
yeah, yeah. And so Zalal is going to be the taller fighter by what, about 2 inches? Let's say no, about 3.5, 4 inches taller. Yeah, physically it's a challenging matchup for Emmett. And wow, if you look at Zalal's losses, his only losses were to Sean Woodson, who was very tough, and that was barely a
Yeah,
split decision, right?
yeah.
And then he lost to Seung Choi and Ilya Topuria 4 and 5 years ago when he was a lot younger. He went to distance with
He went
Topuria.
distance, which is a
Yeah,
massive feat in
it's
itself,
yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Well,
And
both men did. Emmett went
yeah,
the
that's
distance with
right.
Corey as well.
That's right. That's right. And so this is a very, very, very tough fight. I think Emmett has a shot. I think these odds are definitely a little bit inflated, although, and I can see that the Sandman is briefly gone. Hopefully, the Sandman will be back any second, and there
Yeah,
is the Sandman coming right
yeah.
back. Welcome back, Sandman.
Thank you.
No problem. And so, yeah, I think this is a really, really good fight, and I think Emmett's got a chance here. I really do. Both are good guys, but I'm cheering for the veteran, the 40-something older millennial guy, and just a tough guy. It'd be a definite upset. It's going to be hard, but Emmett could win this fight. On paper, though, it would look like Zalal, but it's not going to be easy. I'm going to say that if
Yeah.
Zalal wins this, it's not going to be easy. Curious to hear how you think this one unfolds.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think it goes to decision. I think it'll be a 3-round fight, and I think it'll probably be a split decision win for Zalal.
Right. The judges
If
would tend to lean that way, I would
yeah,
think.
if Emmett lands flush though, he knocks anyone out in this
Yeah,
division. So that's
absolutely.
always the caveat with a Josh Emmett fight. It could last 3 rounds, but it could also last 5 seconds as well, depending on if he catches you. So
Yes,
Very much looking forward to that fight.
indeed. Zalal will have to be aware of the saying, "O caveat emptor." Let the buyer beware.
Yeah, indeed.
He's bought tickets to be in the cage with Josh Emmett. You better
Yeah,
watch out for that overhand right and
absolutely.
even left hook.
Now, onto the fight, which, in my opinion, is the people's main event. Two captivating personalities, two knockout artists, two men who pride themselves on going to war every time they step in the cage, and that is Khalil Roundtree Jr. versus Yuri Prohaska, two former opponents of former world champion Alex Pereira, two men looking to get back in the title picture. And look, we spoke about Olberg earlier. If one of these two goes out and puts on a devastating performance, who knows, they could skip the line, or we could even see Olberg fight the winner of this fight to determine the ultimate number one contender. How do you see this one going, Mr.
Oh,
Professor?
I like it. Well, thank you, Sandman. One of my friends always likes to pretend that I'm in the mix, and he would say that I am the people's champion, and so perhaps I'll fight the winner of this Roundtree versus Prohaska. And then I always tell him, "Thank you for wishing to see me in the hospital for quite a long time, or
For a
dead."
long time, yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed. But you know what they used to say: if the money's right, yeah. But I don't think anyone's chasing me down to get in there at my age. But I got some moves here still a little bit, but quite slow compared to these young men. This is you're right. It could be that the winner of this fight gets the shot if one is quite impressive over the other instead of Ulberg, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think both of them have accomplished more, achieved more than Ulberg as of yet. Prohaska is an interesting guy. I had a chance to speak with him at Media Day this past January at UFC
Oh,
311
brilliant.
when I covered that. Very thoughtful guy, unique guy, coming off a win over Jamal Hill, former champion, who I interviewed several times as well. And then the loss over Pereira, although he did pretty darn well in that fight.
Yeah.
And scratch that. His opponent, Roundtree, did pretty well against
Yeah.
Pereira.
Yuri
Yeah,
did well in
sorry.
the first, Yuri
He
did well
did.
in the first fight
He
with
did,
Pereira.
yes. In the first one, he did. In the second one, not as well, but definitely
Yeah.
beating Alexander Rakic, Glover Teixeira earlier, Dominic Reyes, Uzdemir had a real good streak going. Tough guy. And what is he, 32 years old? 32 years old,
Yeah.
6'4", 205. Tough guy, skillful guy. This is an interesting match of two guys that are very, very cerebral, both very
Yeah.
smart, really intelligent fighters with game plans that they stick to, but they can also make adjustments. And being a really good
Yeah.
fighter, one of the things you find is really only the better fighters can make adjustments as well as these two gentlemen.
Yeah.
I imagine they're a similar age, or Khalil might be slightly older. Let's see.
Feel like Khalil
And
Roundtree's older.
he is 35.
Yeah.
So he'll be a bit shorter at 6'1". So it's a similar size matchup as when he fought Pereira, but he did very well against Pereira.
Yeah.
And then he came in there and beat Jamal Hill. Wow. So he beat Jamal Hill June 21st of this year, and Yuri beat Jamal Hill on January 18th of this
Yeah.
year. Yuri stopped him in the third round in
Khalil went
January,
to decision.
and went to the decision, but was winning fairly clearly.
Yeah.
Um,
Emphatic win.
yeah. So this is an interesting one. First of all, I'm definitely cheering USA. I'll always cheer USA. Like I know you'll cheer England mostly, and I'll always pretty much,
Yeah.
but in all honesty, I like both guys. They're really good dudes. Let's see what the odds have it. And they do have it a slight favorite, Prohaska, not
Yeah,
quite
that makes
2-1.
sense.
Yeah. It's a good fight. Both guys are very cool, and it's going to be a really interesting fight. I think they're both in the thick of things. I think in the title picture, not far away from getting back in there, both of them. A win will be a huge step, and a loss would be a big step back for both.
Yeah.
I think the older fighter is Roundtree, so there's more pressure on him, and he's from the USA. And a slight dog, I'll take that. I'll take those odds with Khalil Roundtree. I like Khalil. He's a great guy. I think he can do this. But I think it's going to be a unique looking fight, and I
Yeah.
think it's either going to be full of action or it could be not full of action. There's a bit of
Yeah,
a
very
concern.
true. Very true.
Yeah,
I think everyone expects it to just be an all-out brawl, but as you both said, they can both be cerebral when they want to. They
very
both can be,
strategic, very technical.
strategic and controlled and technical. I've got Roundtree Jr. with this one, and I think the key to this fight are going to be the leg kicks. And I think Rakic showed the blueprint of that against Prohaska, but I don't think he was able to fully implement his style. I think that Muay Thai style that Roundtree implements, and also the front stomps to the lead leg as well. I think Roundtree's going to batter the legs a little bit, slow him down. I think he's going to catch Yuri something big, and I think I'm going to go for I'm going to go for a third round win by TKO or KO for Khalil Roundtree Jr.
I
But
could see it.
both fights I have. If you were to ask me my three favorite fighters in the light heavyweight division, it is Alex Pereira and these two. So I almost don't want to see these guys lose, but I know one of them might have to. So either way, I'm just hoping it's a good fight and both come out safe on the other side.
Yeah, me too, absolutely. Or as Connor would say in that old video, I'll batter them. He'll batter those legs, batter them. So I think, yep, I think you very well could be right, and I think it's gonna be a really good fight. I hope it is more on the exciting side, and that they're not too cautious. I could see a feeling out round in the first, but then I think it's going to be a lot of excitement after that. So I'm looking forward to that. Great analysis as always, Callum Sanderson. You are the future of MMA broadcasting. The wrestling skills of Kale Sanderson, the boxing skills of like a young Muhammad Ali, kickboxing skills of Rico Verhoeven. He can play soccer like Messi and Ronaldo combined, and is handsome like a model, and is one of the best minds in the sport. So what more can I say? Don't miss. You got it. Don't lose track of Callum Sanderson.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Speaking of the best, Merab is shown at 135. He is currently the best and might have an argument to say he's the best of all time. He takes on Corey Sandhagen, who is going after the undisputed belt for the first time in his career. Had an interim title fight against Peter Yan. He's had a title eliminator against Aljamain Sterling. Never had a shot at the undisputed title, and he gets that against Merab. I might be completely wrong here, bro. I have a sneaky feeling we're going to see an upset. I don't know why. I think I can see an upset, though. I think Sandhagen's training hard, and he's very good with knees and uppercuts up the middle, and Merab does shoot in a lot. I think he could catch Merab with something.
I think so. Well, this is indeed Sandman on the Sandman.
Yes, indeed.
Callum, the Sandman Sanderson, speaking on Corey, the Sandman Sandhagen.
Sandhagen, yes.
I love it. So that is the Sandman report. And so you got to take that to the bank. I could see that as well. In fact, that could be one of the best things that Corey has, is that he knows the wrestling, so he might get the timing, and he's got a huge length, height, and reach advantage, 5 inches of height, and I think just as much in reach, and so he's going to be looking for those knees coming in to keep Merab honest. Both are very good guys. Merab is so cool. Everyone loves Merab, and I've always been happy watching Merab win when he's not expected to. However, I think in this case he is expected to, if I'm not incorrect. Let me take a look.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And yes, he is. Wow, it's about 3-1. So I think the Sandman is live. I think that I would put some money on Sandhagen, not with a huge amount of confidence, but for those odds, I think we might just see the USA reclaim a UFC belt now that we have none. You guys have one in England with Aspinall, and we have none. So go Sandman, go USA. Get us at least one UFC title for the UFC, for promotion in the USA that has been in the USA for 33 years, and we have zero. We have one champion, Kayla Harrison, in the women's division, and but this will be the only championship if we can get it in the men's division. So, the Sandman cometh, the Sandman cometh, cometh.
No, I think it's going to be a great fight, but I've got a sneaky feeling Corey takes it. I wouldn't be surprised if Merab wins because he's proven everyone wrong.
Right.
I I don't know why. I just keep on leaning towards a Sanhagen win, but
Yeah,
time will tell. We will see.
it's
On
going to be
to the main
exciting
event.
for
A
sure.
rematch from some months ago. Ankalaev, now the champion, takes on the former champion and challenger Alex Pereira. Hate to say it, even though he's one of my favorites, I think Ankalaev gets the job done, and I think he does it more convincing this time than he did last time.
I know that there was a trend in boxing that usually if you lose fairly convincingly in one fight, you almost always lose worse in the
Yeah,
next one. But I haven't seen that transferred to MMA as much. It seems like things can change. Um, let's analyze this. Let's put on our professor hat, our professor and the Sandman hat here.
yeah,
And the professor here has the 33-year-old Ankalaev going up against what Alex has got to be 37 or something now, I think. 38-year-old Poatan Alex Pereira. Man, yeah, he was looking great against everybody. I did have Jan Blachowicz beating him in that split decision that he won, but that was
I
2
do as
years
well.
ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
And I think he's improved since then with wins over Prohaska twice, Jamal Hill, and Roundtree. Yeah, I think Ankalaev is just too good for him. I think Alex is probably losing a step or has lost a step.
yeah,
And I think he just was so tentative. I watched the fight with a friend of mine who recently got his fifth black belt. So he's got a Brazilian
amazing,
Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a judo black belt, and in 3 karate styles, a black belt.
amazing.
And he is just super, super knowledgeable. I used to roll with him back in the day, and and now I would get completely annihilated. But
Yeah, it sounds
I
like a
don't.
lot of people would.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. But in the striking, he's been a striking teacher also, and he's a tactical trainer for different police departments. And I asked him, I said, what was, other than worrying about the takedown, what was stopping Alex from throwing anything virtually and hitting with anything? And he told me something very interesting. He said, when most people are striking, they're in a stance. This would be orthodox. This would be
Yeah,
southpaw. You might see it, a mirror image here, and then you can see where it's coming and adjust your stance for the counter. And Alex is really good as an aggressive puncher,
yeah,
and as well as a counter puncher. But my friend, really a true master of martial arts, told me that Ankalaev would be coming in, moving as he was coming in, and throw something.
yeah,
And he was not throwing from a stance. He would
yeah.
be like orthodox and then come in as he came in, throw something from the other
Those,
side
yeah,
and switch. He
yeah,
was not giving Alex a chance to set for anything. And it's a very unusual style too.
mm,
So Alex was kind of befuddled. He was like
yeah,
and he looked befuddled.
yeah.
And the takedown he had to worry about. So he's having this guy come in and then switch shot right away and switch something, switch stances, throw, and not even throw from the beginning, but start moving in and then throw. Which is like like you're coming in already
Yeah,
like this, and you know what someone's doing. There it comes the hook, or there it comes. It didn't make sense, but very effective. However, I think that Alex can maybe prepare for that, but then will Ankalaev come with that exact same strategy? Maybe not. It'd be smart if he didn't. Um, if it's going to be really interesting. I think Ankalaev wins again, but I think Alex will go for it. I think Alex realizes that he kept waiting for an opening, and he was giving away round after round by
yeah,
doing that. He can't do that. I think in this fight, he'd rather end up on his back than give away 5 rounds or 4 rounds out of 5
yeah,
by being inactive. And not only that, I have a feeling he's probably watched the Hamzat versus DDP fight also and realized, look,
yeah,
there's 2 things to be good at if you're against a better wrestler other than the striking, and that is your sprawl game and your get up game.
yeah,
You can't not make one of those
yeah,
happen, or else you get Hamzat DDP like DDP got at the hands
yeah,
of Hamzat. So I think Alex is really practicing both of those, but probably favoring one over the other. And I would imagine probably the get ups is what
yeah,
he's looking at.
yeah,
And I think he's going to be favoring getting up really having trained on that, and he's also going to be just looking to be prepared for unorthodox striking and just throw maybe uppercuts and like that. And I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think that this is a fight where I think the UFC would very much love to see Pereira get it back. Odds makers have it 2-1, just slightly over 2-1 on Ankalaev.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be closer than that. I think it's a little bit of an overlay, but no, I think Ankalaev is going to do the same thing. But at those odds, I don't think I'd lay those for a lot of money. But I think Ankalaev does win this. But I think Alex is going to make this more competitive than the first fight, and will have his moments and could win, although I don't think so. I think there's going to be some excitement though, and I think it's going to look. I think it's not going to look exactly the same. At least I sure hope not. As the first one, I think you'd agree, or would you?
Yeah, completely agree. I think Ankalaev wins more convincingly this time. I actually think he might get a stoppage, but I think he gets a stoppage because Alex Pereira is going to be on the attack.
Right, he's going to go for
open.
it.
Yeah, he's going to leave him open ultimately. So, looking forward to UFC 320. I can't wait for the card. I think it's going to be a fantastic card, and I think if this delivers, it could actually be card of the year potentially.
Absolutely. Like I was telling, who will it be? Will it be him? Or will it be going the wrong way? I got him. I got all my fingers lost. There we go. Will it be? There we go. Will it be him or will it be him? Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be good. But I can throw one, knock him out, and throw another, knock him out, and there he goes, and there he goes, and then all of a sudden I'm at the top of the heap at 205 in the UFC in my dreams.
In your dreams, and in mine too.
Yes, it'd be amazing. But yeah, I can't wait. It should be a really, really good card. And I'm more than likely going to be watching it with that friend of mine again that I watched the first one with. And it's always great because he has so much tremendous insight, as of course to you and I. And but it's going to be there's going to be some really good fights, and I hope they're all exciting. I think they will be, and I think we're going to see one of the titles change hands, but I think we both think it's probably going to be Sandhagen. But yeah, I'm excited. Really good main card, and also Shabazzian in the undercard. And, I think it's going to be a really good event. So looking forward to it a lot.
Looking forward to it indeed. People, if you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Colin's channel. Links will be in the description. Colin, always a pleasure, bro. Back at it. Yes. UFC 320, UFC Australia.
Yes.
Up and away we go.
Absolutely. Definitely. Great recapping everything with you, bro.
Indeed.
Callum, you're the best. And as you guys know, we have him I proclaimed him the Sandman.
Yeah.
So together we are the Professor and the Sandman.
Thank you all for watching and listening. MMA from London to LA. Take care, everyone. Speak soon.
Take care, guys. Peace.